The biggest difference between longboarding and shortboarding seems to be walking, right?
Walking is important in longboarding. It's actually what truly separates longboarding from shortboarding. You have the ability to go from one end of your surfboard to the other, to create momentum and speed by moving your body along the board. And the right way to do it is walking. The reason you walk on a longboard is because you're setting up either a nose ride or efficient trim. Longboarding is all about having your surfboard in perfect trim. So you've made your first turn a little bit, and you're going to move up to the front third of the board, and you're either going to go all the way to the nose for a nice nose ride, or you're going to hold back a little bit and just achieve perfect trim. Trim is where your board is in the face of the wave in the fastest place it can go. And it's all about that trim, finding that line where you've walked up, your board's achieved maximum speed, and you just settle down and wait. If you go a little too fast, take another step up to the nose and you can slow down a little bit. Or if the wave is really slowing down, you just walk right back and do your cutback. But it's all about walking. It's not walking is the efficient way to get from one end of the board to the other. Walk down the stupid surfboard, it's easy. Walking back's a little tricky. Don't drink so much. The big difference between walking on a surfboard and walking on the sidewalk is on the sidewalk, you just walk with your feet side by side. When you're walking on a surfboard, you're trying to keep your weight centered over the stringer. So, you know, your front foot's going to be placed at a little bit of an angle across that stringer, and you're just going to replace it. It's little small steps right on the stringer all the way to the front of the board. So it's nice little steps, very smooth, very quick, and that'll transfer your weight from the tail to the nose of the board. And the goal is to keep your feet right above the stringer. Keep it on the middle line, the center line of the board. You can also, in bigger surf, or you have a section coming up that you have to deal with, you can take bigger steps to get where you want to go. There's nothing wrong with it, but if you've got the time and you're trying to do it with the most style, it's little steps. The goal of walking is to take short little steps centered right on the stringer, carry them all the way to the front of the board, and it'll end up with you hanging 5. That's the best, all the way up for a 10. Turning around and walking back that way, it's more just for fun. But you gotta remember, surfing's all about fun. It's just going about doing whatever makes you feel good. If you're going to shuffle up on a board, it's not as smooth. You're still getting your weight to where you want it, but it's jerky. You know, your board kind of bounces and goes like this. So it's not a smooth transfer. It's not a smooth transfer of energy from the tail to the front of the board. And you can see it. You can see it's just it's not going to be a smooth way to do it. And it's just a matter of getting used to picking up your feet and walking. You know, take the end of a wave. You know, you're just about done. There's not much left on the wave. Take a second, stop, and then just walk right out to the front of your board and walk right off. And that's a good way to practice. Just walk off the end of the surfboard. Who cares? No penalty. Nose riding deserves a lot of attention. It's the ultimate expression of a complete longboarder. The ability to travel out to the end of the surfboard, hang 5, then 10, relax, and really perch and make a statement about your ability. To carry your weight on that end of the surfboard, you have to position the board so well that the rest of the board will hang in there while you're nose riding. It's the ultimate maneuver in longboarding. There's different ways to set up a nose ride. A lot of times you'll set your nose ride right out of that first turn. You fade in your turn. As you come out off the bottom, you're pointing your board up towards the lip, up towards the high point on the wave, so the board's tilted up in the face. And right as you come out of that, you start walking forward up on the board. And the board won't actually get up to the lip then. Because of your weight, the board will settle down more into the middle of the wave. So that's coming out of the turn, leveling it off, boom, you're out there, you're getting a nose ride. You know, the other traditional setup for a nose ride is you're back on the tail of your board, you're waiting for the wall to set up in front of you. So you're stalling, kind of hanging out on the tail, just kind of making little turns, just holding your board back, letting the wave set up in front of you. And then it's just a quick little tail stall. You'll see people just shift their weight back a little bit, and boom, then they head out for the front end of the board. Sometimes you'll take off on a wave, running at an angle, and you just take off at the angle, and boom, you just run out there right away, trying to pick up speed as you go forward and make the first section and drop in on the nose. Anything in the front third of the surfboard, from about here up, is considered the nose of the board, and you're getting a nose ride when you're standing up here. But truly, if you're going to say, I hung 5, or that guy, nice 5, that means wrapping 5 toes over the edge of the board. This is a nose ride, that's 5, and that's 10. I mean, they've got to be over the edge to be actually hanging 5 or hanging 10. And good surfing is all about trim, being in the right part of the wave where you have maximum speed and efficiency for minimum effort. Getting the board set up in the right spot where you're going as fast as you can go without doing anything. That's the trim spot on a board. And that'll be that front third in here. And then you go up a little farther and you'll slow the board down by sinking that front end a little bit when you're hanging 5. You can see how the board will rock forward, it'll slow down, and then you'll come back off of it and you're in trim again. Hanging 5 has a different personality than hanging 10. Hanging 5 is actually more efficient. A lot of times you'll walk up towards the nose, you're developing your forward speed, you get up to the nose and your back foot still, you know, a good 16 inches back from the nose, and you're gonna go and hang 5, but your weight is really on that back leg. So you're back here still trimming really fast. When you really carry your weight forward, then you're starting to stall the board. You're actually starting to dig in a little bit and slow down. So the hang 5 with the foot in the back, you can really go a long way in the face of the wave because your weight's being carried on the trim spot of the board. So you're back and actually going at a real nice clip, real fast, making a critical section. At this point, if the wave sets up right in front of you and you want to slow yourself down, the best way to slow down is actually just bring it up for a 10. Because then you're going to start to sink your nose and slow everything down. You've got all this weight out on the front end of your board. So then you're out there, you're going to slow it down, and then you've got to come back off of it. So the hang 10 actually is traditionally a stalling technique, just to slow yourself down a little bit. Whereas hang 5, that's for speed, that's for trim. To have your momentum forward, low, and make it around a section, it's a Paul Stroud or a cheater 5. Because, you know, all your weight's back here, and you're cheating a foot out onto the nose. I mean, a real 5 is being up here. So this is considered a cheater 5, because all your weight's on the back.